Hey guys, lukemick here, and this is my review for Fast and Furious 6. So the Fast and Furious franchise is a franchise that I never really looked into. They came out when I was in middle school and elementary school, and I never wanted to watch them. I don't know why, but I just didn't really get into them. So I've recently purchased the first and second films on Blu-ray, and I've tried watching the first one a couple of times, but I just cannot get into it. So I pretty much went into the sixth one blind because I haven't seen any of the other movies, but I have seen bits and pieces of some of them, so I know some plot points and some of the character relationships. So I'm just going to do the best I can to get through this review. So, the plot of this movie is basically, I'm pretty sure it's just, the plot, a bad guy, just a nameless bad guy pretty much, he wants to get a weapon. Yeah, he wants to get a weapon, and he has a sort of, not racing team, but street team of his own, and obviously Vin Diesel needs to reassemble his team to go and get after these guys, because Dwayne Johnson knows where his old fiance or girlfriend is, Michelle Rodriguez, because she supposedly died in the fourth one, but turns out she's alive, and Dwayne Johnson can get him to her, but Dwayne Johnson needs help finding this bad guy. And that's where Paul Walker and everyone else start to really unfold, and that's just how the story unfolds. That's where they come in. So, the story for this movie, it's very, very plain. It doesn't really need to be much of anything. It has the friendships, I guess, that have grown throughout these movies. I'm assuming that there's a strong bond between these characters, and it's a lot about sort of just trying to get the last piece of the puzzle for their team, because they've been missing Michelle Rodriguez since the fourth film, and this is the one where they try to really get her back and stop a bad guy at the same time. So I'm going to just talk about all the actors. Paul Walker, I don't know if I mentioned this in the review, but I turned the first one off so many times because of just Paul Walker in the first one. He could not act at all back then, and he just pissed me off, and I could not get through the movie listening to his voice. So I'll tell you right now, he's definitely grown up as an actor. He's doing a lot better now. He was pretty good in this movie. He doesn't necessarily do a lot acting wise, but he's a lot better. He's much more bearable in these ones. Dwayne Johnson's back. I've really been liking him lately. He's really cool in the movie. And of course Vin Diesel's good as well. The whole cast really works well together, and I think that's a very good plus for the movie. A minus the bad guy. You don't know anything about him. He's very plain and just rigid, and you don't know anything about him, and he isn't interesting, and a movie needs to have an interesting enemy or villain to really make the movie good. And that kind of drags on the story as well, because you don't know necessarily, there's not a lot of motivation for what they're doing except to find Michelle Rodriguez. So the story isn't great, and it doesn't necessarily have to be, because it's purely an action movie. And this movie has some really great set pieces, whether it's on a highway with tanks or taking down a plane. There's some really cool set pieces in here, and all the action is in the right place. And the direction for the most part is good, but I think I would have enjoyed the movie a lot more if I would have known more about the series. And there is some cheesy dialogue and some bad acting, but it kind of needs that to add some comedy. And I mean, it's just not I didn't think it was a very great movie, but I think I really need to know more about it. It's just a lot of flashiness and everything, and I just have never really been able to get into the series, and I don't think this is really going to change that for me. I'll still check out the originals or the older ones, but this one, it just isn't that great. There's some really cool things happening in here, and the characters and actors and actresses really all work well together, but the story and some of the pacing and the villain just aren't up to par with what I think it should be at. So I'm going to give the movie 3 out of 5 stars. Definitely a solid action flick, kind of like Olympus Has Fallen earlier in the year. If you like the Fast and Furious franchise, definitely go check it out. For those of you who are looking for a good action movie, give it a try, but for just normal film goers, I would maybe pass on this one and just get it at the Redbox. So this is lukemick signing off. Please subscribe. Gonna go see After Earth tomorrow, and I'll talk to you guys later.